Welcome our 11th standard students. Today we are going to see about law of conservation of total linear momentum. We know that concept of linear momentum. Any object which has m mass, any object which has m mass, if it moves with v velocity in a particular direction towards the right, then this particle has a linear momentum. If it is moves in a straight line with a certain velocity, that particle has a linear momentum, that is p vector is equal to m into v vector. We know that the linear momentum is a vector quantity. That's the direction is in the direction of velocity itself. If you take a single object like that, if you have system of object, that is, we are going to take two particles. There is a particle 1 where mass is m1, particle 2 mass is m2. Their velocities we are expressing v1 velocity, and second one's velocity is v2 velocity. Suppose the two are moving. Now I am taken moving towards. If the two are moving towards, that makes a collision. Before collision, it has a momentum. Generally taken as P1 is equal to M1 V1 magnitude. Like that for the second object, P2 equal to M2 V2. We need a direction for this vector quantity, means we are expressing P1 vector equal to M1 into V1 vector, P2 vector equal to M2 into V2 vector. Anyhow, the two objects are in motion. Here we are going to see about conservation of linear momentum. Without external force, these two objects may make a collision. If the two objects within that one act on that another, their acting forces may be called as internal forces. So here we can take without external force, internal forces only acting. For internal forces, calculate the net force, means net force becomes a 0. If net force is 0, the system's momentum is conserved. Momentum is conserved. So without external force, so momentum is conserved. Due to that internal forces, net force always becomes a 0. So according to that principle, we can say momentum is conserved. Momentum is conserved. In the dynamic motions, not only that momentum is conserved, there we have other two conservation laws. That's why totally 3 conservation laws we can list. 3 conservation laws. One is majorly taken conservation of energy. The total energy is conserved. We have a definition of that: at any position, at any place, energy is conserved. Energy neither created nor destroyed. So we taken either acting that without external force or with external force, always energy is conserved. Any system can obey that law of conservation of energy. That's why in conservation laws First law is conservation of the total energy. For any system with or without external force, total energy is conserved. Next, second one, conservation of linear momentum. Linear momentum symbol is P. Linear momentum is conserved. When that linear momentum is conserved without external force, linear momentum is conserved. Then we have a third one. Conservation of angular momentum. It is for applying that object which is makes to moves in a circular motion or rotating motion. We consider there we have a angular momentum. When that angular momentum is conserved means without external torque, or the internal torque may be acted, net internal torque always becomes a zero. Then we can say angular momentum is conserved. Without external torque, angular momentum is conserved. That's why we have three conservation laws: conservation of total energy, conservation of linear momentum, conservation of angular momentum. Anyhow, now we are going to see about the conservation of the linear momentum. For that, we are going to take a best example to explain that conservation of the linear momentum. We are going to take two particles, particle 1 and particle 2. We consider first particle and this is the second particle. These two particles may move towards or moves in a same direction, whatever may be there. Suppose I am taken, these two are moving in a same direction. Their masses we have m1 and m2. Their initial velocities we are going to express u1 and u2. They are moving in a same direction. Their momentums we can express. P1 vector is equal to m1 into u1 vector. Because of this momentum is a vector quantity. P2 vector is equal to m2 into u2 vector. Suppose the two are moving in the same direction and we have three cases in that we can tackle. If u1 is greater than, if u1 is greater than u2, this case is used to make the two particles is going to collide, because if they are moving in the same direction, their u1 is greater than the u2. After some fine time, first particle can act on that second particles. At the time of collision, this is 1 and 2. Their masses may be m1 and m2. At the time of collision, one act on that 2. One may be act on that 2. Simultaneously, 2 also act on that 1. So they are extracting force one on that another at the same time. There we are going to express their forces. That force F21 vector, because the force is a vector quantity. What is the meaning of F21 vector? Means particle 1 extract a force which force? This force F21 2 1 vector on that particle, on the particle 2. So F 2 1 vector is nothing but particle 1 extracts a force F 2 1 vector on that particle 2. Then same time simultaneously F 1 2 vector also acting. So what is that? The particle 2 extracts, that is 2 is extract a force F 1 2 vector on the particle 1. So what about the direction of the two forces? 1 may be act on the 2 may be act on the 1. The two forces are act in opposite direction and also equal. So that's why F 2 1 vector and F 1 2 vector forces are equal and opposite in directions. So the two are acting two different objects. Now we can apply the Newton's third law. According to that Newton's third law, we know the definition of that Newton's third law. For every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So based on that, here we can express F 1 2 vector equal to, but equal act in opposite direction. That's why F 1 2 vector equal to minus F 2 1 vectors. If that F 1 2 vector is acting on that first object, first particle by the second particle, and same time simultaneously F 2 1 vector, one is acting on that second particles. So we know that initial momentum for that both the objects, before extracting a force one on that another, you have the momentums P1, momentum of the first object, first particle or first object we can take. P2, momentum of the second particle. Anyhow, at the time of collision, the forces are acting. Due to that, their momentum is changes with respect to time. So that's why P1 momentum is going to change by the second particle exerting a force on that first particle. That's why we can relate that momentums and change in momentum and force based on that Newton's third law. Newton's second law, because according to the Newton's third law, forces we are equaling. Next we are going to take Newton's second law. According to Newton's second law, we know that law value, that is equation is F is equal to ma. Then in that acceleration can be changed into rate of change of velocity, and based on that we can take d of mv by dt. Anyhow, we know that in general F vector is equal to d by dt of p vector. It is a Newton's second law. This is going to utilized in our expression of that relation of that third law, we know that F12 vector is equal to minus F21 vector. There we are going to apply. 2 is going to act on that first one. So that's why first one momentum is going to changes. So that's why instead of F12 vector, we can take an d by dt of act on that one. Momentum of that first one is changes. Then equal to the same negative sign we are going to take on. And here first one is going to act on that second particle. Second particle's momentum is changes. That's why we can take an d of, that is d by dt of p2 vector. So we applied that second law in the equation of that third law. We will get the expression d by dt of p1 vector equal to minus d by dt of p2 vector. Then this is going to take on the left side. The right side factor is minus d by dt of p2 vector. That is going to take on in the left side. Then we will get dp1 vector divided by dt. That minus is taken in this side. That becomes a plus dp2 vector divided by dt equal to 0. Then according to our mathematical principle, the denominator dt going to taken out from that dp1 vector plus dp2 vector equal to 0. But on the differentiation, d is common. That's why we are going to take an d of p1 vector plus p2 vector equal to 0. If any vectors or any factors differentiation value is 0, then we are saying that factor is remains constant. If you differentiate that constant, their differential value is 0. So like that we are saying, if d of p1 vector plus p2 vector equal to 0, their p1 vector plus p2 vector value is constant, remains constant. Then we can rearrange this also. D of pt vector, total momentum of the system vector, that means equal to 0. If you tackle like that, that is p1 vector plus p2 vector equal to constant. That obeys the laws of conservation of linear momentum without external force. This concept, that is the total linear momentum of the system, or vector of, that is a vector form, first particle's linear momentum plus second particle's linear momentum. If you make, it is a constant. Before collision or after collision, total momentum of the system remains constant without external force, may be acted by internal forces. So that's why here momentum is conserved. This is a vector laws that we are going to explain with some of the examples. There we have some points for meanings of conservation of linear momentum that we are going to see now. Okay. Next, we are going to see about meaning of law of conservation of linear momentum. There we have the 2 points. First point is, what is that means? Linear momentum is a vector quantity. That vector quantity has both magnitude and direction without external force. Without external force. Without external force. Total momentum. Total linear momentum total linear momentum is remains constant. That is, if we have here two particles, their momentums we can express p1 vector and p2 vector. So what we are saying, without external force, p1 vector plus p2 vector equal to constant. In some cases, p1 vector plus p2 vector may be equal to 0, because if the system is at rest, no momentum for both the objects, then at that time we can take an total momentum is 0, whatever may be that. In general, if the two particles momentum is p1 and p2 vectors, without external force, we consider the vector sum of that momentum is remains constant. Anyhow, their magnitude as well as the direction both are constant. You taken like that, both magnitude and direction remains constant. Next point we have, any particles or any systems motion if you want to analyze, we may use Newton's second law or consider that is a linear momentum. For analyzing the motion of the system of the particles, we can use Newton's second law or linear momentum. What is the advantage of that consideration of that linear momentum means, without acting force taken, we can, given that particles final velocity as well as momentum, final momentum of that particles. So that's why in that second point what they are saying means, particles motion can be analyzed by either Newton's second law or conservation of linear momentum. Conservation of linear momentum. This if we use that Newton's second law, we want to know the forces acting at the time of interaction of that two particles. But for that, by using a conservation of linear momentum, we need to utilize the forces, no need that forces which are acting at the time of interaction. So that's why, based on that conservation of linear momentum, we can easily explain their motions. So we can take on many examples for this. What are the examples we can take on means? If we use gun to fire a bullet, if we ready that gun to fire the bullet, the system is at rest. So we have bullet, their mass. So example we are going to take on, that is gun with bullet. bullet is loaded in that gun and we are going to make to ready to shoot. So before shooting there are momentums, there initial momentum of a gun can be taken as, that is P1, that you can taken, mass of that gun can be taken as M1, initial velocity can be taken as U1. Like that, initial momentum of the bullet, that momentum can be taken as P2. Bullet mass can be taken as M2. Initial velocity can be taken as U2. But we know that U1 equal to U2 is equal to 0. Then we consider P1 plus P2 equal to 0. Both are separately if we taken, that also 0. In general expression, momentum's general expression, initial fired, that is before fired, their momentum can be expressed P1 is equal to M1 U1, and bullet initial momentum can be taken as P2 is equal to M2 U2. We know that the two are rest. If the two particles are rest, then their velocities are 0, the total momentum also 0. If the gun is fired, bullet is ejected and moves in forward, but the same instant at the time of ejection of the bullet from that gun little bit moves in backward. That is called as a recoiling of that gun. So that's why in general we can take a final momentums. Final momentums for gun P1 prime equal to M1 V1, for bullet P2 prime equal to M2 V2. But after that firing, bullet moves in forward, gun moves in backward. So that's why they are having a velocity. So that's why we are not taken that V1 and V2 values are 0. We have a certain values. So that's why total final momentum P1 prime plus P2 prime, we have some value. But according to that law of conservation of linear momentum, initial momentums, sum of values, P1 plus P2 is 0. But there we have a final momentums, P1 prime and P2 prime. That's why initial momentum, total initial momentum is 0 equal to final momentums total values P1 prime plus P2 prime. So from that we can take an P1 prime is equal to minus P2 prime. So we can substitute here their values. M1 V1 is equal to minus M2 V2. So based on that, if you know their masses M1 and M2 and one particle velocity we know means other velocity we can calculate. Suppose I want to find that recoiling velocity. So for that gun makes a recoiling. There we are using that, want to calculate that V1. V1 is equal to minus M2 V2 by M1. Based on this formula, if you substitute that known values, we will calculate that recoiling velocity. But what is the direction of that recoiling velocity means opposite to the direction of that velocity of that bullet. That's why in a vector form, V1 vector equal to minus M2 divided by M1 into V2 vector. That negative sign shows the two are moves in opposite direction. That is one example. Then we have a lot of examples we have two particles moves in forward direction, that is the same directions. Two particles moves in opposite direction. Another one, if they collide, the two may, after the collision, the two may moves in different directions. Whatever may be that, there we have only internal forces. Without external force, momentum is, total linear momentum is conserved. That we are going to see in that examples. Okay. Next we are going to see the example problem. What they are given in our problem is, identify the internal and external forces acting on the following system. What we have given in our sum as a system is sun and revolving earth. The earth is revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit. Now, in a different type, we are going to take on a system. The first question is, earth alone a system, means this alone is our system. There we may have here many forces. In between that earth particle, the forces may be acting, that are internal forces. What about that sun extracting force on that, gravitational force extracting on that earth means, that is external force. So that's why for our first question, earth alone a system, the sun's gravitational force is external force, because we are going to take on earth alone as a system. That's why that sun is a external particle. That external particle exerts a force on the earth. That's why sun's gravitational force, which may be acted towards that sun, that is the external force. Next we have another type of system. Earth and sun both are act as a single system, in that at the time of earth revolving around the sun in elliptical orbit, sun as well as the earth both are extracting a force on one another. But these two are a single system. That's why between that sun and earth gravitational forces are internal forces. So here for second question, sun's gravitational force is internal force. For the first question, earth alone a system, that's why sun's gravitational force is external force. For a second one, sun and earth both are taken in one system. That's why sun's gravitational force is here internal force. Next we are going to take on the surface of that earth we are walking. So that's why for a third one we consider is the surface of the earth. On that surface of the earth we are walking. At the time our weight is act on that surface of the earth, and earth also exerts a force because of our gravitational force. Earth gravitational force, the weight is acting. So that's why here in our man alone a system means earth's gravitational force is external force. At the same time, sun's gravitational force we are not going to take on here, because the interaction has happened between that man and that earth we observed, that is we identified. So that's why Earth's gravitational force is the external force. For the fourth case, man and earth both are taken in one system means Earth's gravitational force is internal force. For that we can take a surface of the earth. Man is walking on the surface. Totally, these two are one system means man weight is act on the surface of the earth and the gravitational force acting in a downward direction. Both are acting in a equal and opposite directions. So that's why here that Earth's gravitational force is internal force. Based on that taking system, we consider that sun's gravitational force may be a internal force or external force. For in our first question, Earth alone is system, due to that sun's gravitational force is external force. But in our second question, Earth and the sun both are taken as system. That's why sun's gravitational force is internal force. And third one, our body as a system while walking, that is our body only system means, then we can take an Earth's gravitational force is a external force. If you take an our body and Earth both are a single system means Earth's gravitational force is internal forces. Okay, that's all about that sum and about that conservation of linear momentum. Without external force, total momentum is conserved. That is law of conservation of linear momentum. Like that, without external torque, total angular momentum is conserved. So external thing if we attack, then only it can be make changes. But we have completed that conservation laws, 3 conservation laws: conservation of total energy, conservation of linear momentum, conservation of angular momentum. In that we have explained that conservation of linear momentum. You go through your book very clear. Thank you for